In this video, we're going to take a look at the session menu inside the Blackboard Collaborate Ultra Room that we have already set up, but most of our time will be spent on the component of that menu recording. I'm going to take a look at what you see in the instructor's view of the Collaborate Room, the student's view of the Collaborate Room, and what is recorded by Collaborate itself. So let's get started by going to the classroom we've already set up, Blackboard Collaborate Ultra. We're at the sessions screen. We know, of course, that we have a variety of session options that are already set. We can join the room. We allow anonymous dial in. We can edit settings for the room. We here are allowing guest dial in. We are also allowing that each student that comes in, each default attendee is a participant. We're going to allow download of the recording we're going to do, and we see that the students, the participants, can share audio, share video, post chat messages, draw on whiteboards and files, and we are going to allow attendees to join the session using a telephone if they need to do so. So let's go ahead and enter our room, join the course room. You see we have 4 students in the room waiting for us: Billy Bowden, Kathy Collins, Roger Jolly, and Sam Adams. We're going to turn on our microphone so that we can be heard. And we're going to share our video. Hi, it's me. So now we're going to move from the preview to let people see us. So we're sharing our video. So the students are now seeing me talking as in their screen. And depending on whether they have the screen set to follow the speaker, in which case I would be front and center, or to see the group, in which case I would be one of the 4 pop-ups, they get a somewhat different view. So at this point, we see that we do have audio going through. The white bar on the mic is bouncing up and down. We see that we have video. We know that the students are seeing us. We might chat with them before we get started. Let's start the room recording by first opening the session menu and seeing what's in the session menu. We see the name of the room. We see that we can start the recording. We can use our phone for audio. Suppose you have a headset, a really good headset on your telephone and not on your computer. Maybe you're going to get better audio by connecting with your phone. You can report an issue, a technical issue. You can ask for a tour of Collaborate. You can look for help in Collaborate. You can see the privacy policy in Collaborate, or you can leave the session. Let us start recording the room. So we've started recording the room. We see the session is being recorded. It might take a second or 2 before the video is actually captured. Let's now see what we can do with recording and see how the room records the room, what the instructor sees and what the student sees. So here are our participants. Let's share some content. As you may know from other sources, you can either share an application screen or share files you've already uploaded. Let's start with share files that we've uploaded. So let's begin with a slideshow I previously uploaded. It has 4 slides. We can see that here. And right now, by the way, the students are just seeing me. They aren't seeing anything yet until I select what I want to share, click Share Now, and select the slide. The students are now seeing this slide using Collaborate Ultra at Kent State University. Something worth noting is that if you have animations in your PowerPoint slide, when they upload to Collaborate, they get flattened out. So in a little while, we'll see that this is animated in the original slideshow, but it's just a single pop-up in the uploaded slide. Because we're in an application mode and sharing that application mode, we could ask students to mark up the slide for us. For example, can you please check off using the pencil check if you've seen live instruction? Okay, how about asynchronous meetings? You haven't seen that yet, I guess. And what about tutoring? Okay, you've seen that. So our student did all of this. I didn't have anything to do with it because we are sharing the application. We can go to the next slide. And here's another interesting point to note when you work with uploaded slides. This is an embedded video. We'll see the embedded video in another format in a little bit, but Collaborate doesn't warn you that there's a problem with the slide, that it's not going to be there. Your video isn't When you upload your slides, it takes a little while for Collaborate to process them. And after they're processed, you're going to check and see what they look like. They may not be what you expect. Let's go and share a previously loaded PDF file with the students. When I click it, it now shares. They are seeing this image, a full-size image of the PDF. When we go to the next page, though, we note that this is pretty small. That's a little irksome, a little irritating, because that is what they are seeing, that small image. Perhaps we take note that we can control the view by clicking on View Controls, and we can zoom in. So now we can actually see what's going on. You might think that the students are seeing that as well. They are not. They are seeing that single full page. So if I were to click on the pointer and point to something, by the way, they cannot see my cursor, they can see what I'm pointing at, but in that teeny little view that we saw a few minutes ago. So they're seeing the cursor in this view. Not very good. So let's say here we want them to take note of France. We want them to tell us what number France is on this image. They can't do that. You've got to tell them, okay, students, click on the view controls, click on zoom in 6 times, perhaps 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, scroll down, and maybe you need 7 times. I don't know how good your site is. And find France and see what France's number is. Okay, you've got the number. Please find France on the map and mark that up for me. Very good. That is indeed France. So as with the PowerPoint slide, when you share files, you're going to think carefully what the students are going to see as you share files that you've uploaded previously. Another interesting thing that you can do with sharing files is share them with students in a breakout group. So let's build a breakout group. Randomly assign our students into 2 groups. That takes a minute, so they can't see or hear anything. They can't see or hear each other while this is occurring. Right now, the room is still being recorded. The breakout rooms themselves are not recorded. What happens in a breakout room stays in a breakout room, so you cannot record that information, and those students are only working with themselves in that group that we see. We can then share files with groups. So I've previously uploaded prompts that I want the students to work with. So here's the group 1 prompt. I can click on the file options, scroll down and click on share with groups and share that prompt with group 1. And then I can share this prompt by clicking options, scrolling down, clicking share with groups, and a different prompt with group 2. Right now, each of the 2 groups are seeing different prompts, and they can be working on those prompts. If you want those students to work on something and then return it back to the class afterwards, either you have to enter the room, take a snap of it, take a picture of whatever the thing is, or they have to snap it and then upload it so it can be shared later on. They cannot, whatever they're working on, share it back to the room without this separate step. A really important thing to note is that you can move yourself around to drop into groups and work with them. As soon as you drop into a group, the Collaborate room stops recording. And so you could work with group 1 and or with group 2, but when you return to the room to do the rest of the class or to do the report out from those groups, you got to start recording again. You need to either not go in a room, or if you go in a room, the recording will end and you'll have to start it again when you come back to this main area. Let's end the breakout groups. And by the way, warn them before you end the session so that they know it's time to save things, and you'll be back in the main room shortly. Again, that might take a few seconds before everybody gets back into the room as Collaborate works through that. Let's take a look at sharing content in a different way. Instead of sharing files, let's take a look at sharing our application or our screen. In this case, I'm going to start by sharing a screen, and I'm going to share audio as well. So I select the screen I want to share, I click on share audio, and then I share the information. Right now we see the so-called Hall of Mirrors, and the students are seeing the same thing, but I'm going to bring up a PowerPoint presentation that I have ready to go. If you were to share a PowerPoint presentation in its native mode, from the beginning, when you click on it, the students are seeing only this PowerPoint screen. They can't see any other information. You might, however, like them to be able to see you and your reactions to what's going on, perhaps your gestures to what's going on. If you want to do that, click Slideshow, Set up Slideshow, browse by an individual window. And then when you do your share, you're able to reduce the size of the PowerPoint that they see. As you can see, what I've done here is force it in such a fashion that they can see me as I go through the slides. That might be important to you for some reason. So right now the students are seeing this window of PowerPoint and they're seeing me as well. Note too that in this original PowerPoint there was animation, and it is retained because it's the original PowerPoint, and students are seeing this as we go through it. Now, because we are no longer in a shared application, they cannot write on it, they can't check on it. We'd have to ask them to tell us whether or not they have seen any of these. They cannot write on it with a pen or a line. Here, we will be able to see that video and hear it. What is affiliate marketing? How does it work?
In my experience, affiliate marketing is we help partners.
So this is being recorded.
We're basically partners to educate consumers
by the room
and
is being seen by the students. So how might we use breakout rooms given what we know and keeping in mind how things are recorded? We could use it for brainstorming. Use the group work as a way for teams to brainstorm a question or ideas. They have a working format, how they would address it. In our case, what I gave to group one was a prompt that was supposed to promote the idea of brainstorming. Use your whiteboard, which they can do from a breakout room. Develop ideas about the future of retailing. We'll take an image of your results and share it with the class for discussion. So I told them what to do. But if I go in and take an image, the recording is stopped. When I come back out, I'll be able to share the image. But if I want to record it, I have to start the recording again. You can use it for research. You might use a breakout group for students to find articles, or you might have uploaded articles, share it with them, and then they could answer questions, specific questions that require looking at the research to answer the question. Discussions, we can use the breakouts chat feature as a place for students to share their opinions or their views on specific topics or issues. Then they can come back to the group room after the time is up and come up with 2 or 3 things that they want to bring back to the main room. Problem solving. The slide that I put up for the second group gave them a problem to work on. Not all students in groups fully participate. What are the most effective ways to get all students in a group to participate? They'd be working through it, and I'd ask them to take a picture of it before the end, and we would be sharing that back in the discussion. Because you cannot record information in the breakout rooms, students have to take either a screenshot or a snippet or a snapshot and then upload that to share. Or as the moderator, the instructor, you can visit the breakout room. Recording stops when you do that, and grab a screenshot of their work to share back. So participants have the opportunity to collaborate using a shared whiteboard option, but they can't share information back to the main room. You can make a leader in a group of presenters so they can share their group's work in the main room by uploading the screenshot that they took of their whiteboard or of their work. Although the audio and video automatically split and reconnect when you and your students move to different groups, it can take a few seconds for them to sync up. So you might have to wait a little while or warn them to wait a little while before they try to speak. As the instructor or the moderator, you really want to try to spend an equal amount of time with each breakout group if that's important to the class as you move between them. Don't end the breakout group before you've collected and saved those pieces of information you want to share back in your main room. And it's repetitive at this point. Breakout rooms groups are not recorded in the Collaborate recording, so you have to facilitate a share out or a group discussion. You're going to want to capture that in advance. So I'm going to stop sharing this. I want to take note for you that right now the students are seeing me talking because I stopped sharing. I'm still seeing this screen. So down here, if I pay attention, in the bottom left, I have a monitor that shows me what the students are saying. So I'm not going to save this, and we're back in the room again. So let's take a look and see if we share instead of our screen, we share an application. In this case, I'm going to share a Chrome tab, for example, and I want to share the audio. I previously found something I want to share in my Chrome browser. So clicking on that tab, it's a YouTube video. I'm going to share it. Click on it.
We'll demonstrate how you
And
can
the
use
students
breakout
are now
groups to
hearing and
separate
seeing
groups of students
this video
and teach
from
them
my
individually in
YouTube
Blackboard
source.
Collaborate.
I can stop that. I have to remember that to close out of it because they're seeing me. So that's a pretty good overview of how Record works and some caveats about it. We're able to see this from the instructor view, from the student view, and from the Collaborate room view as well. I'm going to end the recording now. So stop the recording and exit the room. I'm going to leave the session. When I do that, by the way, keep in mind the students are still in the room. I haven't shut down the room. And so the students are still able to chat with each other, enjoy their conversations with one another. So where do we see our recordings? In the Blackboard Ultra sessions screen on the left-hand side. If we click on the menu, we'll see that we have the option to see our recordings. Initially, it may take a little while for that recording to show up. These are old recordings I did earlier. This is a recording that I did earlier. So I'm having to wait for this session to be processed. So it'll take a little while, and I'll have to keep coming back. It can take a few minutes, it can take an hour, it can take longer. I have to keep coming back to this area, either by exiting it and coming in fresh is one approach to doing that. Or I can refresh my browser and then check for the recording. All right, so presently we'll see what that looks like. While we're here, we can take a look at what else we can see from the Sessions window. If we click on Sessions Options, we can take a look at reports that have been created over the amount of time we've been working. And we can view a report. Perhaps what we'd like to do is take attendance. Here we have people coming in and out as it happened, but we can see who was in the room by their name. Anonymous phone-ins don't show up with a name. That's not a very good thing. Also, what we can do is look at the reports and see the results of any polls that we might have taken. And we can download the poll results. They, of course, will download in the usual fashion. And then we can see what those results were from the poll that we took. This is a poll on our favorite color. And here the student answers yellow and answers red. So that's where you would find attendance, such as it is, and poll results. So it took a few minutes for the room recording to be ready, but here it is. We can see it's by its date and time. Our options are to watch it now, to download it, to look at the settings, which really is just the name of the room. We can change the name. Here we're calling it sample recording. And we can download it if we have other uses for it. Later it downloads in the usual fashion. So this effectively ends this video. We've taken a look at the session menu, but mostly spent our time understanding more about recording. Thank you for your time.